Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah. Welcome to 1213 Prescott Way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified when we post another video. A video. A video. Video. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Well, you guys, I'm excited because I have McAlister's veggie potato, and I can't wait to throw down. I know I have my. It has yellow pepper, green pepper, tomatoes, broccoli, spinach, onions, and just all bunch of deliciousness. And I can't wait. I was having a conversation earlier, you guys, and you saw the title. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Long overdue. Mm. 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 Heaven. This is heaven. Mm. So good. Mm. Mm. Remember, I was telling you guys last time, it's great when you can eat the skin of the potato perfectly cooked. Look at that. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. 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 I was so hungry, I forgot. One of my coworkers gave me some red pepper flakes. She said they taste good. Mm. So I'm going to try it. She said she got it from a Thai restaurant. No, this she didn't get from the Thai restaurant. Just kind of weird. Mm. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Yeah, so one of my coworkers was in here telling me about her nightmarish jobs that she had prior to coming here to the law firm we're at now. So it reminded me of my nightmarish experience. I had the bright idea to go work for the county, state, government agency. Um, so I took a job as a legal secretary and just thought about moving up. I figured it couldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? Being a paralegal, just to work my way up. Since that's the only position they were hiring for in the department that was doing the hiring, I won't mention it here. But it was a very impressive department within the state that a lot of people would have tried to get into. Um, so I did work there almost 3 years in that same position. It's after, I think it's after 6 months, you can apply. You get these emails and stuff that where a position opens up so that, that's how people advance up. And the position I was in, it was so slow that if I printed one letter in one day, I did a lot. And coming from the private sector, small law firms, I won't even say small, just law firms, period, which is private. I was used to moving and grooving, just, fingers on fire from typing on your keyboard to researching to just multitasking and no time for breaks, can barely go to lunch. I remember when I worked at Glenn Lerner's office, that was almost like a 24/7 job. We were there Sunday through Saturday, 10, 12 hours a day. I would barely be able to get to the couch when I got home from work. Just an example. That's the extreme to the busy side. Now, this is the extreme to doing nothing side. And mind you, my supervisor was a legal secretary 2 or 3. No, they had levels. And with all my experience, my um, and education, I took a downgrade, of course, to come in as a legal secretary 1 because I figured what better way to advance. So, it's been so long, a position became open. It wasn't for a paralegal. It was, I think it was a researcher, but to have all those paralegal skills that I already possessed. So I got excited, applied for it, didn't hear anything. My 1 year review comes up. Actually, I said that backwards. Like I had my 1 year review, and I'm looking at the review and it says you can improve in this and this and that. And I'm like, when have I even used any of those skills? As I said, one letter. I wasn't, the job did not, I didn't do anything. And same as my attorneys and everybody else, because if I did, if they did, I would have had the work to be done. And mind you, my job, our department was grant funded, and it was a 3 year grant funded positions, I should say. So I'm like, our money's coming from grants. So when the 3 years up, you know, you had better get transfer or, you know what I mean? Get into a different department because your job's going to be eventually eliminated. On my first year review, like I said I needed improvement in this skill, that skill, which I knew was not true. Only because of my background and how I work, my work ethics, my knowledge, which I didn't use any of it because, like I said, there was nothing to do. So I was dumbfounded. And then that position became available and applied for it. Of course, didn't get it. And then I realized when you have that, you're reading it, it says if you have any negative reviews or, you know what I mean, like the need improvement, that kind of thing, they're not going to consider you. So I realized from that point on that my position was that I was being sabotaged. Do you know what I mean? They didn't want me to advance. They didn't want me to do better because they were all just stuck in their same position, didn't want to go nowhere, didn't want to do anything. And I'm not that type of person. When I see an opportunity, and I will go for it, especially when I know I have the skills to do it. And secondly, because that wasn't where I wanted to be in the first place. I took that job to advance. And I noticed even a girl that worked there, we became friends outside of the job. She would come to our shows, David shows, and we'd go hang out. And I mean, we have a blast and be friends. I introduced her to all my friends. She knew David. And then when we got back, when I went to work, the first time we went out, it was like she acted like she didn't know me. She just said hi, barely even wanted to speak. Her department was next to ours. And I just found that odd. I was like, okay, I understand being professional on the job, but you guys are kiki and haha and with each other and different, other people. But with me, and we were the only people of this, she just act like I didn't exist at work. But when we got off, it was like we were best friends. It was I found that strange. So I kind of distanced myself from her. I'm like, I'm like, what? You're ashamed to be friends with me at work, but out in the real world, we are buddies. I'm like, no, I don't get out with that fake kind of stuff. So work, it put a really bad taste in my mouth at this job. And then on the 3 year mark, it was almost 3 years, I knew the position was being eliminated. And that was just a weird experience, being isolated from everybody. I remember they would peek in my office when I first started working there. Oh, we're going to come back and see if you want to go to lunch with us. And, I was like, oh, okay. Because, I'm friendly. I want to have, some camaraderie. Sorry about that. My phone cut off saying my storage was full. So, anyway, as I was saying, just being isolated, you feel like you're, it just makes it so dismal. So, as I was saying, they would pass by, Sarah, we're gonna invite, you want to go downstairs, because we had a cafeteria, and of course lunch was free and stuff. So they would pass by my office and look at me after they had told me they would invite me down, to have lunch with them and stuff. And they look at me and just keep going. You know, they did that several times, and after that, I was like, I knew I was on my own. So I was fortunate enough, about 3 months before my third year was up and the DM job was eliminated, I had a girlfriend that had called me that I met at Glenn Lerner's office actually, and we became friends and had remained friends years after that. And she was like, Sarah, do you want to, are you looking for a job or something like that about going? But long story short, I ended up getting a job at a private firm and was very happy after that. I was like, and they were asking, how you interview, and they always ask you, why do you want to leave so and so's office? And I was like, and I tell them the same thing I told you guys. If I printed one thing, I'm doing a lot, because in that position, I was thinking to myself, I am going to lose all of my skills that I have gained in my over 30 years of being in this field. And I'm like, because once you get out of the habit, because it's repetition, and the only way, and you have to get back into it so that you can remember. You're like, oh yeah, okay, and then it starts to flow again. But it's like, okay, I forgot how to do that. And then it's like you don't have that legal mindset as far as knowing to do this, you know what I mean, to have it flow. I am that flowy kind of person. So that is my story of the worst job I have ever had in my life. I know you guys have horror stories too. Just leave them in the comments. You don't have to say who, what, where, but yeah, just the what. Just the what. Yeah. So and I am happy where I am right now. The only problem I have is the distance, it just is taxing on me. That's the only thing. If I was in Springfield, if I lived in Springfield, no big deal. With a breeze, I could do it like that. But my husband, he he works in Branson, and we had thought about moving to Springfield, but I told him I wouldn't do that to him because his job is only like 2 hours a night. And I'm like, that's just too short of a time span to be at work to have to drive 50 minutes back and forth when I have to be here 8 hours, seven and a half, seven, whatever, but full time. And it makes more sense for me to drive the hours, the time. So that's my logic anyway. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. This was so, so, so good, and I'm glad I got it and that they did order from Schlotzsky's. So, or is it no McAlister's? I keep saying Schlotzsky's, McAlister. So thank you. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified when we post another video. And have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And I'll see you on the next video. Love you. Peace. Bye.